What's up, people? Welcome back. This isn't the GSC podcast once again. We were planning on coming back with a podcast this week, as we discussed, at the end of E3, we were saying we are going to have a little 4-week gap.
Yeah, well, technically it's been 3.5 weeks, so you can't really hold it against anyone. But
No. There's no judgments. The World Cup is still technically on. It's just it's only the final coming up, and we're kind of like, what did I get, Ben? I got a text from you saying, I just missed talking about games with you guys.
I want to talk about games, man!
So we decided we'd just try and come back a little bit early, and I think it was only me and you that were really available. But that's fine. We've done it like this before a couple of times.
It's one-on-one sessions, man. That's what it's all about.
This is Jamie C, joined by Ben.
As always.
Today we're going to talk about Cliffy B. We're going to talk about Battlefield, talk about Grim Fandango. There's some other bits in there. Did you want to talk about Cliffy B quite a lot?
There's not really that much that we can say about it, to be honest, but I'm happy to give my 2 cents.
Right, well, so Cliff Bleszinski, everybody knew it wouldn't take him long to get back in. He has had a couple of years gap, right? That was 2012? No, 2011.
I think so, yeah. So
GS3 was 2011, and then not much really happened after that. He stepped away from Epic Games, took a big gap. We knew he'd come back. He has come back now with his new company, Blue Key Games, which he's announced via Twitter.
That's not it. You getting your false information mixed up, eh?
What?
It's Boss Key Games, his company, and
no,
the project is Blue Streak.
We're going to have to go back because I've actually just written one place Blue Key Games and the other bit Boss Key Games.
That's all right. No worries, man.
I tell you what I've done. I've put it in a blue font and then I've written blue.
That is so totally something you would do as well.
No, do you know what? Fuck it. We're not cutting that. That's just a little mistake of me. I've probably written red in red somewhere else on here as well.
My favourite thing about this story, right, is he was teasing for ages. He was teasing, I've got an announcement coming up and stuff. And then he tweeted a picture of himself, like a selfie on Twitter, that had the fucking logo for his new company in it. So he kind of blew the reveal.
So on Twitter he said, friends at Bosky will be working with Nexon to publish a free-to-play sci-fi PC arena shooter, codenamed #BlueStreak. There we go. So let me get that straight. Let me sort that out.
That totally falls in line with everything he's been saying whilst he's been on hiatus. Like that traditional disc-based games are going away. He won't ever make another one of those. So this is an online game. Multiplayer games are the way of the future, he's saying. It's an online multiplayer game and it's free to play. So
yeah, and in another tweet he put out something like, and you guys thought I was going to make a MOBA with a little winky face.
All that says to me is that he might make them over in the future.
It's probably still going to happen, right? But so what I've done is I didn't know anything about Nexon, and I went onto their website today, just had a look at a couple of free-to-play games. Got a little bit tempted. I was like, maybe I want to play one of these. Maybe that's what I want to be doing. But Owen Mahoney, President and Chief Executive Officer, that's a lot of words that needed a full stop at some point, sorry. President and Chief Executive Officer of Nexon, there we go. He said, Cliff is one of the most innovative and renowned game designers of our time, and his reputation for creating genre-defining games that inspire a dedicated fan base is well-earned. Players across the world have eagerly awaited Cliff's next move, and we're delighted to partner with Bosky to bring the next generation of first-person shooters to the market. So they've actually bought into the company as well, haven't they? They've took a big chunk and got involved. So what do you want? What do you want from Cliffy B?
Well, what this sounds to me like is that he's going after the Unreal market, you know? There hasn't been a well-received Unreal game in a long time, and I think he's going to try and put himself out there as we're the Unreal that the fans want. Even though there's a project going on at the moment where actual fans are building the next Unreal game, I still think he's going to try and play that angle. Which it could work, you know. He's former Epic. I don't think he had all that much to do with the previous Unreal games, but who knows, man? I'm excited because I haven't enjoyed a sci-fi themed arena shooter since Halo 3. So I want it to be good and I want to enjoy it, basically.
I think with Cliffy B as well, it's not so much his content, it's him as a person. We were speaking before our break about how Reggie, what Reggie is to Nintendo, but just
Yeah.
Cliffy can have that effect on any company he works
Well,
for. If
whilst
he was like a representative for McDonald's, more people would buy McDonald's. You know, he is a character.
totally, man. I was gonna say he was to the video game industry as a whole what Reggie is to Nintendo whilst he was unemployed because he
Yeah.
was still giving his 2 cents on everything. Now that he's got his own company, like they have the added bonus of having like the guy in charge also being kind of like their mascot, their like well-known personality. So they'll be able to sell games based on his charisma alone.
Yeah, you talk about his putting his 2 cents in. He was active on Twitter quite a lot, and I remember when they were talking about Capcom, and he was saying, wasn't he, "Come at me, come, I'll come make you a new Resi game." I'd have loved to have seen that
It could have worked, man.
Cliffy Resi game.
A Resident Evil game with even worse character designs because you know that that's what Cliff Bleszinski's all about. Terrible character designs. Great games, terrible characters, man.
But yeah, so the window's open. It's early days. I'm excited. It's not so much my style of games. This whole sort of like PC free to play.
Mate, it's not your
Shoot
style of game
world.
yet.
Yeah,
You learn
probably.
to love
Yeah,
it. This could be your gateway drug.
it could be, couldn't it? Or I could go back on Nexon and just find all of that stuff and just get heavily under the influence of Nexon. But we'll see. Should we step away? Sticking in the vein of FPS though, and
Yep.
actually go into MOBA now. So Gearbox have announced their new game, Battleborn. So have you been checking out the trailers and
Yeah,
stuff?
I watched the trailer for that game, and the first thing that I thought to myself is, this is Borderlands. Like I'm looking at Borderlands, but with like fantasy tropes thrown in. So is this a new Borderlands game? Like, because all I saw was the trailer. I didn't know what I was watching a trailer for. It was like Gearbox's new game or something. Getting to the end of it, I was like, well, I'm fairly sure this is a new Borderlands game. And then it came out with a completely different title, and I was like, okay. And then I hear that it's like an FPS MOBA, which is really strange, man, because I know I've played another one of these FPS MOBAs before, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I don't even. I remember seeing the trailer, and I was quite taken by the art style to begin with. But there definitely has that edge of Borderlands to it. And you know it's MOBA because there's like an elf female with a bow and arrow and stuff. And, yeah.
It's got to be there for every MOBA game, man. No, I think it could work. The game I was thinking of was Super Monday Night Combat. Even though that's not strictly a first-person shooter, it's a third-person shooter. It's still
Similar.
It's still a shooter that is a MOBA, and it works really well. So if it's similar to that, I mean, it's going to be awesome. I'm not the biggest fan of MOBA games though, so it's really hard for me to be like excited about the concept.
We had a good time with Monday Night Combat though.
Yeah, it was a
Real
fun
good
game,
time.
man.
Step it up, get 4 players, get the challenge going. Definitely, there's room for more of those if you do them right.
Yeah.
And if you have something that has an edge over your opponents, you don't want to be the same, do you? So
The thing is, being a MOBA game, I can't see it being as sort of over the top and wacky as Borderlands, which, given its similarities in sort of aesthetics and art style, it might be kind of disappointing for people to not have that like overblown, insane amount of loot and everything. But
it's going to slow it down as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's the thing about Borderlands. It's an arcade game.
Yeah, totally, man.
It's got that through and through, and that's what keeps everybody interested. It's so fast paced and in your face.
In your face, man.
Something all over the place. More shooter news. The Battlefield beta, then this Battlefield Hardline. So I couldn't get onto it because something happened with my email and it fucked up, and I'm not very happy. I wanted to play, but I know a lot of people who have played and they've really enjoyed themselves. And you didn't get on either, did you?
No, I tried to get on that moment when they said go in, click on your Battlefield 4 thing, and you can download the beta straight away. I tried, and it just crashed my PSN, and that was it. I was out.
That's what happened to me, and I tried through the PC. Nothing was having it, and I was on it straight away. I was there the minute they were announcing it live, but fuck it. But anyway, some statistics have been revealed for the beta.
Awesome. Gotta love them stats.
A couple of just a few, right? So they're saying that $9 trillion of loot had been grabbed in the Blood Money gameplay.
Nice. Yeah.
I was reading something like that's like 375 times the amount of money in circulation in the United States or something like that. I don't know. Where do they get these statistics from? Nearly 13 million vehicles were destroyed during the course of the beta as well.
That's amazing.
That says something. and a 50% break-in success rate. So, I mean, that doesn't say anything to me. I just think it's fun that they've gone and put these statistics out there.
I just like numbers, man. Just
Yeah.
keep giving me numbers.
Let's just cream out these numbers. I might write numbers in number font and number color and see if I accidentally say numbers.
Oh man.
But it's I remember when Battlefield Hardline was shown off, and I think all of us on the call while we were watching E3 just outright then wanted to buy it, right?
Do you know why? Because it's so similar to traditional Battlefield format. Like, it is a Battlefield game, but it's also new enough that, like, it makes me really want to play it. As somebody who already really liked the Battlefield franchise, giving me something just a little bit new, but also still very familiar, is almost exactly what I want. It's exactly what you want in a sequel. It's basically the same game, which is what everybody really wants in a sequel, despite how much they'll say they want change, but with enough changes to it to make it feel different and feel fresh.
I know what you mean. Some good gameplay modes that are worth putting in, not just for the sake of putting in new gameplay modes.
Exactly.
That's what's happened. But here's the thing then. If I'm sure you can afford to get both. We could get both. Maybe we will. But let's say you could only get the new Rainbow Six or the new Battlefield. Where do you put money?
See, Rainbow Six, it hasn't been great for a while, right? But the new one looked really nice. The trailer that they showed off at E3 was really sweet. But is it going to have the longevity of a Battlefield game? Am I going to still be enjoying it, you know, like a month down the line? Am I still going to get a call from one of my friends and say, you know, oh, we're on Battlefield, do you fancy like having a few games? Like, is that going to happen with Rainbow Six? Because I know for a fact it would happen with Hardline. So
that's probably where I sit right now, is that I just don't think, although I think it's very creative with Rainbow Six, the gameplay they're going with, I just don't think it has that longevity.
Yeah. It's
going to suffer, isn't it? We know what we're getting with Battlefield. This is a new approach for Rainbow Six completely. So it's...
I hope it does well for them, because it looks really good. And if I have any say in the matter, I will be playing it when it comes out as well, or at least giving it a go. But in a toss-up between that and Battlefield Hardline, I would definitely go Battlefield, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think I'm there with you as well. Did we see a release date for Rainbow Six? Nothing. Yeah, it's too early.
I don't think so. Yeah, because they made a point of saying that it was pre-alpha stuff that they were showing, right? That they're only just into development, and this is what they've got to show so far.
Oh, so we're miles off then.
Yeah,
we're not even looking at games in the market at the same time as each other, or even in competition.
Yeah,
Battlefield is this October, right? So we're fine.
Yep, it's gonna be good, man.
It's gonna be good. Moving on. A couple of months ago, we were talking about Mighty Number 9.
Yep.
Remember that? And the Kickstarter went really well, didn't it? You funded it as well.
Yeah, I funded it, so I've got my PC copy, hopefully, fingers crossed, when it finally releases.
All settled. I just want it on like PlayStation or even Wii U. I'll take it on Wii U or 3DS. That would look amazing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But see, they've opened up new crowdfunding for some extra content. Have you seen this? Have you heard this?
I haven't seen this or heard this. I did hear something about Mighty Number 9 recently, but it's nothing related to this.
You've probably been looking at Shad-based stuff about Mighty Number 9 or something like that, right?
Definitely have, but if it exists, I will be later, right? But no, I saw a trailer for a animated series.
This is it. This is where my excitement is right now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, an animated series is right there for the crowdfunding right now. So you know that money's going to shoot up again. Why wouldn't you want it?
It looks pretty cool. The little trailer that they put out was pretty sweet, man.
Why wouldn't you want it? But yeah, I'm very excited for the game. And we're not going to get a good Mega Man game, are we?
Well,
this is a good Mega Man game.
Yeah, most of the creative force behind the Mega Man games are gone from Capcom, man. It's going to be a Mega Man game created by somebody completely different if they go ahead and start reviving the franchise. Whereas here, you've got, you know, the original creator of Mega Man looking to make a spiritual successor to that franchise that keeps the gameplay mechanics and the sort of ideals from that game and give you an entire new series of what you want, basically.
Yeah.
It's going to do good, man.
And you mentioned Capcom. There's something I haven't picked up on for this call today, but it's worth mentioning that while we've been away, that they're pretty much on the market now, aren't they, to be purchased?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk flying around about, you know, can Microsoft snap them up as a first-party studio? Can Sony snap them up as a first-party studio? not really sure I can see that happening, to be honest. Especially not Microsoft, because I don't know whether it's still a thing, but I'm fairly sure it used to be a thing that, like, with large Japanese companies, they wouldn't let them get bought out by people from abroad.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like it's kind of xenophobic, but I mean, Japan's a pretty xenophobic place, so I can see that being real. I don't know. I think it's more likely that perhaps a group of investors will buy out Capcom rather than a company.
Keep it as Capcom.
Yeah.
Keep the banner above the door the same.
I think so.
Seen that before. I wouldn't like to see it exclusive to a console. For the content that we've had over the years, I wouldn't want to see it now just on one console.
Yeah, it's not, especially when it's, a company that generally, Dead Rising 3 and Dead Rising 1, I guess, withstanding, makes cross-format games, multi-platform games. So everybody has been enjoying their games up to this point on, like, all platforms. If they went platform exclusive, you'd be sort of isolating half of your fan base, which would blow, man.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we have had titles like IP that is exclusive to a console, but you wouldn't want to see them limit themselves to one console completely. I think now and then a little bit of a console exclusivity for one game is good for competition, right? And
Yeah.
it helps. And it's all about who's got the money and who's got the balls at the time to try something with them. And
I mean,
but we'll see.
more than anything, I mean, I could care less about fucking Resident Evil or, like, Monster Hunter. Like, forget about them for now, even though they're both good and I love them. I'm talking more like Street Fighter. That isn't the kind of game that should be just on one system. Like, that should be on every system, because
Definitely.
that is the fighting game. So if it's not on every system, then every system's losing out, because that is probably the king of its genre, and it shouldn't really be tied to one format.
Yeah. So fingers crossed. Capcom, there's a brighter tomorrow for them. I don't want them to go the THQ way.
Yeah, basically, make new games instead of releasing your same games over and over again.
Yeah, Resident Evil just lost it, didn't it? It needs a revival. Capcom needs a revival.
Wow. Well, I'll talk about Resident Evil next week, man. On the actual podcast, considering I've actually been reliving some Resident Evil stuff recently. So,
but yeah, let's use this opportunity to segue nicely then off to talking about console exclusivity on something else.
Cool.
So at E3, they were talking about Grim Fandango for the Sony conference.
Yep.
So Double Fine have gone on record and said that it will be on PC, Linux, whatever that thing's called. Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, Linux. Yeah.
I'm so stale right now.
It's fine.
We had 3.5 weeks off.
3.5 weeks of doing nothing but drinking beer and watching football, though, and playing video games.
Seriously, we weren't going to talk about what we've been playing, but I can just see Earthbound in front of my eyes right now. I've just got that, like, burn. I didn't get the in-screen burn reduction put on my eyes, so it's just
really. At least you still feel human. I've watched so much anime over the last few weeks. I feel like I'm living in a fever dream. It's crazy, man. Oh god.
Right.
What other formats is it coming out on? Sorry, PC, Linux.
It's PC. Yeah, it's all that Mac nonsense, all that stuff there. But no other consoles. They've said no other consoles right now. But I still don't know a thing about Grim Fandango, and I am going to keep it that way until that game comes out.
All I know is it's a point-and-click game from Double Fine that has a skeleton dude as the main character, and I'm fine with that. I will play it.
It looks like early Pixar days doing a commercial for a cigarette or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of one image of this character, I've never seen a trailer, gameplay, anything. And like I said, I intend to keep it that way until the game's out. And Janny's going to listen back to this and just hate on me now.
Not really, because Janny loved this game as a kid and we missed it. It's one of those things, man. I'm glad it's, like, being remade because I do want to experience it. He loves it. He must love it for a reason. He doesn't love a lot of stuff.
He doesn't. But that's part of the great bit of having the option to go back to these games now. Like, formats that are lost, getting them re-released. Like I said about Earthbound, we didn't get a Western release for that. Well, we didn't get a UK release, sorry.
Yeah.
So now that with the Wii Virtual Console, it's an opportunity to go back and get some of those games ported over nicely. It plays really well. Solid. But yeah, that's a nice way to do it. Keep it coming. Yeah, I don't mind. Don't do it all the time.
Yeah. If it's well, no, you need to make a distinction, right? Not if it's a game that just came out like last year, like I don't want to say The Last of Us Remastered, but The Last of Us Remastered.
I was gonna say, hang on.
Even though that game's good, and I get that a lot of people who owned Xbox 360s before have bought PlayStation 4s now, and you want them to experience it as well.
Yep.
Still, that game only came out last year, so that's one of them. Like Metro's doing it as well. The Metro games are now getting re-released. There's a lot of this re-releasing shit going on right now, and I guess it happens a lot at the beginning of new console life cycles, but still, I'm not a fan of it, man.
It depends how you look at it, because we take a game like The Last of Us, which deserved all of its accolades last year. It was a great title. And there will be people out there, well, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't do it for the new console, but there will be people who will buy it. There will be people who haven't played it and that will buy it now because it's an opportunity, because maybe they didn't have a PS3.
Well,
Great.
I'll personally be buying it again because, one, I want to play through that game again, and two, I didn't play any of the DLC. And the stuff that they're showing, like the new character models and the new textures and stuff, look really, really nice. That game was already beautiful, and like it's looking better now. So I'm gonna buy it. I'm sure a few other people that have already played it will buy it again as well. But
I can't deny anything. I did it with Tomb Raider, but that was my game of the year last year. So to buy it again was just to sing its praises even further.
Yeah.
But there are other games. I mean, there's a rumor at the moment that that Beyond Two Souls is getting remastered for the PS4. And that's a game that I didn't play. I didn't pick that up on the PS3. So
probably for good reason, because everybody said it was shit.
I mean, I thought it was more down the line. I thought it was more of a Marmite game from what I've read.
Oh, maybe. I mean, from what I've seen and like from what I've read from other sort of critics and reviewers that I tend to sort of agree with, it's nowhere near as good as Heavy Rain. And
oh well, yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted it to be.
I was about to say it must be good if they're going to remaster it, but then I just remembered we were saying Metro's getting remastered for the new console, so it doesn't always work, does it? Because you can get shit polished back up and re-released. But never mind. There is a game that's coming to PlayStation in a couple of weeks that I'm really excited about, and we have actually played it. We played it on the channel as well, and that's Rogue Legacy.
Rogue Legacy is such an awesome game, man. It's really addictive. I'm not sure. Have you been playing Shovel Knight yet? Is that out over here?
No, I've been looking. There's still no release date for over here, so I'm very disappointed.
So it looks very similar to Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight's more in the vein of sort of old Mega Man games and stuff.
It's more like DuckTales from
DuckTales, yeah, because you bounce on your shovel in the same way. But Rogue Legacy is the kind of game that you'll just like, you'll go in, you'll die, and you'll think, oh shit, I died. By now to get past that now, so I'm going to go back in again, and you'll just be there for hours without just one more life. Like, it's so good. I love it.
I was put on the spot a bit with Rogue Legacy, so I'd like to go back and just play it in my own time. But it made for interesting viewing because it just highlighted how shit I am at games.
Well, at least you did better than you did in that FTL video.
That was your fault.
All right.
I mean, that's it for the gaming news. I do have some other little bits in the movie world or TV world or whatever, but I don't know. Is there anything? That's you texting me while my phone's not turned off.
Shh, don't tell people that. What are you on about?
Shows you how rusty I am because I didn't put my phone on silent.
It's all right, man. It's all right. That's why this isn't the podcast.
I'm saying blue when I'm writing things in blue, and I'm not putting my phone on silent.
What's your movie and TV stuff that you wanted to talk about?
Well, today they've shown off a new trailer for the Heavenly Sword movie.
Ooh, which I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, go watch it and be very disappointed. It looks like cutscenes from a PS2 game.
Oh, wow.
It looks dreadful. The plot itself probably doesn't have much to go by either, but yeah, it's coming out in September, and there's box art and there's a trailer today. I tell you about it because I want people to laugh at it. I'm sorry. Yeah. The game was good fun, but when you had high standards visually on the PS3 launch title Heavenly Sword, and then you're going to go and make a film that looks like a PS2 game.
I'll be the first. I didn't like Heavenly Sword when it came out at all. I thought it was a poor man's Devil May Cry and a poor man's God of War. And God of War 3 proved that when God of War 3 came out and was much, much, much better than it. I don't know. I don't feel like it's a franchise that it's a franchise that maybe could be saved, but not by a fucking movie. That's for sure.
It's not going to work. That text message from you is like over an hour old. I don't know how that's happened.
Sorry, don't worry, man.
What the fuck? In other movie news, then they've got a Thief movie in the works now. Did you play the new Thief?
I didn't play the new Thief, no, but I've played the old ones, and that's apparently what the movie's based on. So apparently it's based on like Thief 1 and 2 or something like that, which is kind of cool. Like they're saying that they're basing it on the game, so it's not going to be a completely original story. But you also have the problem there of like sometimes you need an original story to tell a movie adaptation of a game because people aren't going to like you leaving things out. And obviously things have to be cut if you're like making a huge game into a 2-hour film. I don't know, man. It's always risky business making a movie based on a game.
It's probably going to star Channing Tatum as well.
Maybe. He is all over the place these days.
He's going to be Shepard, Gambit, and Thief all in the same cinema screen.
I still don't want him to play Shepard. I like
if they
Channing
did
Tatum
it,
now.
he would. Right now, if they made a Shepard, it would be him. If the funding was right and the studio was right,
What they should do is just get the model who they based Default Shepard off of, because he exists.
Yeah.
Default Shepard exists, right? Get him to do that. Get him to mouth all the lines, and get Mark Meir to voice over it so that it sounds like Shepard as well. They could easily do it. It might look a bit hammy, but still, I'd take that over Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Tatum now, but there's things he can't touch. We're not allowed to let him touch that one.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I can't think, though. If I look at Hollywood now, I can't think of anybody I'd want in a Shep role. Yeah, I can't think. I couldn't even think of a Femme Shep right now. But then a Femme Shep wouldn't work in cinema.
You don't think?
No, I think the world's too sexist still.
I don't know. I think a Femme Shep could work. Not for my taste, because I'm fucking male Shep all the way. I think Mark Meir's fucking awesome, and he does an amazing job in those games. And the vocal minority of the Femme Shep fans that sing Jennifer Hale's praises just kind of overshadow him, man. So I feel like he doesn't really get the respect he deserves. But still, I'm not going to rant about that.
I'm sure we could go on for a while talking about what we would want from Mass Effect in a movie universe, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. There is other stuff moving forward at the moment. I mean, we spoke recently about the Metal Gear movie. There's the World of Warcraft movie on the way as well. There's a lot going on. There's another Resident Evil, but they're saying it's going to be the last one, definitely.
Thank God.
No, they're good popcorn flicks. They're shit films, but they're good popcorn flicks.
No, Resident Evil 1 was a good popcorn flick. Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse was a decent movie if you like to look for Resident Evil references, because there was a lot of them. And everything after that has been god-awful shit, man. I hate them so much.
I don't know. We'll see. But, go on. No, you.
All right, no, I was just saying, you're talking about, like, TV and stuff. I don't know whether you've seen it or not yet. Did you manage to catch the Flash pilot?
I still haven't. And that's disappointing.
I was going to say,
it's been a case of watching the football too much.
Can't really review it because it was a screener copy that was leaked, and it specifically states not for review. But that show was a good time, man. A really good time. A lot better than I thought it was going to be, man. I'm really excited for it to start. It's definitely worth checking out, dude.
I mean, we could geek out a little bit because obviously we're both big Arrow fans. So I am excited about Flash coming. Oh, that sounded good, didn't it?
Oh, gotta love it.
But I've seen that Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow, or Green Arrow, or whatever. I've seen that his brother's just been cast in Flash as well.
Oh, that's cool.
But he's in another TV show. He's in, like, I don't know, The 100 or something. One of those. The Other People or something. What's that one called?
Tomorrow People?
Tomorrow People, that's the one.
Yeah.
He's in that one, right? That's him. Something like that. I don't know. They'll probably just put the Supernatural team in there as well or something.
That would be
we'll see.
Dreadful, man. They cannot.
I'm gonna call something now, and then we're gonna end it.
All right.
But there's been a lot of talk recently about Guardians of the Galaxy, which we're obviously getting very excited about.
Yep.
And James Gunn, the director, is very good friends with Nathan Fillion, and they've worked together in the past.
Yeah.
And he's confirmed that Nathan Fillion has a small cameo. Now, people are speculating that he's going to be one of the other Star Lords, one of the leads that we've had in Guardians comics or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, that just escapes me a bit. I don't think so. I think he's going to have a very small role, and I'm calling it that he's going to be Star Lord's dad at the start of the film, like that small of a role. I think it's going to be when Chris Pratt's character Peter Quill is a kid.
Yeah.
When he's on Earth, I think it's just going to be his father for about 2 minutes of screen time.
It could be. It could be. You never know, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he was just there for like a split second, maybe in a spaceport or something, in full fucking Firefly get up and just walks past.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That would be amazing. That would be a good show.
At the end of the day, with Joss Whedon being on board with all the Marvel stuff at the moment, I'm sure he'd have had no issues with his property being involved, and just see. I didn't even think about that. That gets me excited.
That could be awesome.
Serenity now, just to get me back in the mood. But yeah, like I say, I was calling it that he'd be his dad, but I think you're in with a good shout there as well. Definitely.
We'll see, man.
We'll see. Well, we're weeks away now.
About it, so
we're weeks away, and I think we'll do a special feature on that one because I'm really excited.
Well, yeah, I can imagine us at least doing something like a spoiler cast afterwards, so that if anyone else watches it that day, they can come home and listen to our bullshit thoughts about it. Definitely.
Right. Unless you have any other business to talk about, I think we've gone on a little bit too long today.
No, I'm good. I think we should let people go.
You're still sounding professional, I might add.
Oh, thank you.
I am very rusty right now. I've lost my ability to talk properly.
Do you remember how we end these things? Do you remember the sign off?
Yeah, fuck off. Don't come back.
What the fuck?
You don't listen anyway. Right. We have a Twitter account. It's at gsc_games. We have a Facebook. You have to type in GSC Games in the search bar there. We have a YouTube page. You're not going to find it unless you go through our Twitter or Facebook links because somebody fucked around with the account. If you search Ben Louch, you might find us.
If you search GSC Podcast, we're like the first thing that comes up.
Sometimes it's like the Ghanaian Society for Catholics or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't steal their name though. Don't worry.
I love how we had GSE. Obviously, we've got our reasons for it. And then when you go and look up GSE, there are about 20 different things called GSE.
That's fine. We
really should have thought it out a bit more.
We're the only ones that matter.
I like it. We're ending it there. We'll all be down in the descriptions because we have Twitter accounts as well and we are people. So thank you. Thanks, Ben.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.
All right.
We'll see everyone.